The 80-20 principle, the summary and review. Today I'm going to talk to you about one of the most helpful concepts of time and life management. It's called the 80-20 principle. You can even apply the principle to your personal life to increase your happiness and satisfaction. You simply need to adopt the right 80-20 mindset, and this book summary will show you how. Chapter 1. The origins of the 80-20 principle. Now the 80-20 rule, also called the Pareto principle, is named after the Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto in 1895. At that time, in Italy, 80% of the wealth was controlled by 20% of the population. He discovered that virtually all economic activity was subject to this same principle. The 80-20 principle means that roughly 80% of results come from 20% of causes. For example, the world's top 20% of people generate 80% of the world's wealth. Chapter 2. The imbalance between effort and reward. In fact, similar imbalances between effort and reward can be observed in a variety of different settings. For example, many businesses have discovered that only 20% of their products generate 80% of their profits. Similarly, only 20% of drivers cause 80% of car accidents, while the majority of drivers are careful. Even in the movie industry in 1997, only 4 out of 300 movies accounted for 80% of the total movie ticket sales. As you can see, manifestations of the 80-20 principle can be found in a variety of settings. This results in an 80-20 split. Why is this ratio not more balanced? It's because not every cause has the same impact on results. Chapter 3. Why imbalance is natural. Thinking with the 80-20 principle can be difficult because we naturally tend to expect things to be fair and balanced. However, the reality is that the world is often unbalanced. For example, consider the words we use in everyday conversation. Just 700 common and derived words make up 80% of what we say in our everyday conversations. Less than 1% of English words make up over 80% of what we say. Where do these imbalances come from? Even though these imbalances happen naturally, a lot of people think they're not fair. Take the unequal distribution of income and wealth, for example. If only 20% of the population owns 80% of all the money, we call it social injustice. This is often viewed as social injustice since people believe that work and reward should have an equal 1-to-1 ratio. However, the 80-20 principle demonstrates that not all work pays off equal outcomes. Chapter 4. Improving work processes and efficiency. The 80-20 principle can help you improve your work process to get better results. Let's look at your work life for a moment. If 80% of the results can be achieved with just 20% of the effort out of the total, then the remaining 80% is inefficient. By eliminating this inefficiency and focusing on the efficient 20%, you can significantly increase your productivity. The 80-20 principle encourages you to redirect your efforts toward tasks that have the greatest impact on your results. You can start by examining and analyzing your work processes to identify any inefficiencies. By doing so, you can become much more efficient and productive in your work. Chapter 5. Optimizing Business Profits. To increase profits in your business, you can apply the 80-20 principle. But how can you do that? One effective way is to optimize your product range. First, you need to analyze which product groups are generating the most profits. When we rank our products by sales and profit, we find something surprising. It shows that the top products, which account for only 20% of total sales, generate as much as 80% of profits. According to a study by an electronics company, only 3 products, which account for 20% of sales, generated a huge 53% of profits. The next step is to focus your efforts on amplifying the potential of that profitable 20%. Prioritize them and allocate your resources to sell more of them. Chapter 6. Simplifying your business to increasing profitability. To succeed in business, it's important to simplify and reduce complexity. Most people believe that a big business with a wide range of products is more profitable and advantageous. However, a broad product range can also mean more administrative work and higher costs for your business. By focusing on what you do best, by narrowing your product range, your business can fully concentrate on being effective and profitable. The power of these benefits is clear. For example, a study of 39 medium-sized companies found that the least complex ones were the most profitable. They sold a narrower range of products to fewer customers, which helped them increase their profits. Clearly, by simplifying your business, you can reduce costs and increase your profitability. Chapter 7. Versatile application for your successful business. Thankfully, the 80-20 principle is so versatile that you can apply it in any business area to increase the likelihood of success. You can apply the 80-20 principle to any aspect of your business, from negotiating to targeting marketing efforts. An example of putting the 80-20 principle to use is in targeting your marketing efforts. Focus on providing exceptional customer service to 20% of your customers who generate 80% of your business. Then, when you're developing new products or services, solely target this 20%. By focusing on the most profitable areas, you can increase your market share while still serving your best customers. Chapter 8. Versatile application for your daily life. In the previous examples, we saw how the 80-20 principle can be applied in business. But in our daily lives, it may be difficult to analyze things in such detail. So here is where 80-20 thinking comes in. As children, we are taught that all of our friends are equally valuable. This is conventional thinking. 80-20 thinking recognizes valuable relationships and suggests focusing on them. You can ask yourself, who are the most important to me, and how much quality time do I spend with them each week? This kind of question will help you identify the most valuable relationships in your life. 80-20 thinking advises prioritizing quality over quantity and deepening the most valuable 20% of relationships. This 80-20 thinking can be applied to many areas of life, without the need for solid data. Chapter 9. Time management to apply to your daily life. Most people don't know which of their tasks are the most important and end up defining some 60 to 70% of their to-do list as high priority. This is where the problems start. The result? They end up with jam-packed schedules and longer working hours. Spend your time on the most important tasks instead of focusing on time management. It increases productivity by around 15 to 25%. 80-20 time management helps identify the 20% of tasks that produce 80% of the achievements, allowing you to focus on them. This time revolution helps you to free up time without degrading the impact of your work. Chapter 10. Improving quality of life and finding happiness by reducing unhappiness. Surprisingly, very few people take action to improve their own happiness. In fact, most people spend a lot of time doing things that make them unhappy. Most office workers spend their days sitting in a cubicle, mindlessly performing tasks and waiting for the day or week to end. To remedy this, it is important to assess the distribution of happiness and unhappiness in your life and identify the causes. Ask yourself, what are the 20% of your life that make up 80% of your happiness, and what are the opposite? Identify sources of unhappiness in the remaining 80% of your life and take action. Reduce the time of these activities spent on them. Focus on the 20% of activities that bring the most happiness in your life. And then, have more time and energy for things that make you happy, such as spending time with loved ones. By doing so, you can achieve a happier life. Chapter 11. The 80-20 3-step process. When it comes to the 80-20 principle, there are 3 simple steps that can lead to significant improvements in your life. First, like planning a vacation, you have to choose a destination. This destination should align with your values and priorities, so start by reflecting on what matters most to you. The next step was to find the best route to get there. With many possible paths to choose from, it can feel overwhelming, but it's important to figure out a path that will get you there the fastest. Your final step is to take 80-20 action. Once you've determined a destination and found a route that works, it's time to start taking action. Take advantage of every opportunity, and once you take action, your life will be transformed for the better. The final summary and the key message. According to this principle, 20% of your activities will account for 80% of your results. That means that out of 10 items, 2 will be worth more than the other 8 put together. And if you refocus them on the 20% that is producing the most results, you'll see a tremendous boost in efficiency. This applies to all aspects of life, including business, friends, and personal fulfillment. In particular, we can apply it to goal setting and productivity. Focus all your efforts on the top 20% of the most profitable products by analyzing the current range of products or services. So here's what you should do in order to effectively apply the 80-20 rule to goal setting and to your overall productivity. First, take a piece of paper and write down 10 goals. Then, ask yourself which goal on your list would have the greatest positive impact on your life if you could only accomplish one within 24 hours. Then pick the second most important goal. Make it a habit to ask yourself, before starting any work, whether the task belongs in the top 20% of your activities or the bottom 80%. The author of this book, Richard Koch, advises, find the route to transform your life so you get more results with less worry and less effort. Then act, and you'll be unique, highly valuable, and yes, very happy too. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want to change your future, focus on the 20% that generates 80% of your achievements.
Whenever you have time, watch this video over and over from anywhere. Thank you for watching.